Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers. My name is Lara and we're here at Bite Me in DIFC. Now joining me is a very, very special guest, and of course we're talking about Anna McMillan, the lady behind Mac Innovation. Hello and a very warm welcome to you. How are you doing, Anna?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me, Lara.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show. Anna, we're going to start off today by asking you to tell us a little bit more about the history and the background of Mac Innovation.
Well, Mac Innovation is a 360-degree, let's say, agency where we are doing marketing, PR, and events. We are fully focused on technology and healthcare. We started through healthcare. That's our background. That's my background. And actually, when we started all of this, we started with a healthcare project, coming up as entrepreneurs and trying to find our way to early diagnosis and to preventive medicine. And in all that process, we found out that there were so many gaps in the market and so many things that were required for entrepreneurs, and especially in areas such as technology and healthcare. So that's what we decided to do.
Amazing. And where is Mac Innovation today? Where are they?
Well, Mac Innovation today is expanding. We are still working in what's our core, that's healthcare. We have expanded a bit more into events. We still do very specialized sort of events, and we are right now focusing a lot into supporting two things that are startups and women entrepreneurs.
Now you're part of the iWest platform, which is all about successful female entrepreneurs out there. Tell us a little bit more about your involvement with iWest.
Well, actually my involvement is much more as an enthusiast. I've been part of it for the past 2 years as an observant lady, always looking at, different opportunities to connect and to empower women through meaningful connections.
Wonderful. What message do you have for the viewers that are watching us out there at the moment regarding the female entrepreneurs that would like to get started? What would you say to them?
Well, I think this is a very powerful moment for women. I think as never before in history, we have big opportunities and we have a lot of challenges, of course, but we have so many opportunities and we have so much accessibility to different resources that are even free in some cases, that could allow us to connect with our message and connect with people that resonates with it, and could allow us, to propagate a message that empowers us not only as female but as a society. So always my invitation in that sense is to connect to that women queue that I like to call it. That the women queue is that intelligence that's inherent of women, of female, and that's very particular and unique of us, and it's not a competition, and it's not emotional intelligence for sure. It's women Q, how I call it. I'm writing about it right now, and I'm soon expecting to publish about it, and the core goal of it is to empower more women to connect to that women Q that we all have.
That's wonderful to hear. Now, moving on to the subject of women empowerment, do you feel women are empowered enough in this part of the world?
I think there are two things that I usually like to differentiate. One of them is what's the rhetoric, what do we like to say and hear, and the other is what do we see in actionable points. When we talk about UAE and you look at the government, you would see that 50% of the government is, made out of females, which is a great example for the rest of the world. And I think when UAE is offering that sort of example, it's also our responsibility as women to connect and to take a lead and to take, part of it, and to be, active participants of a society that's opening doors for us to take, the seat in those tables that matter the most. So I think going back to your question, I believe there is still a big gap, and part of that gap is our responsibility as women, because sometimes we feel shy, or sometimes we I don't know, get on our own way, or as I was telling you earlier, we need to overcome the jealousy that sometimes exists between women.
Sure.
And we need to literally absorb the concept that a queen fixes another queen's crown.
I love that.
So yeah, my invitation to women is, if you want to have an impactful and meaningful, life, and you want to have a purpose within this society, embrace your female power and allow yourselves to start taking the spaces that the society is offering right now.
Absolutely. So Anna, what tips, what advice do you have for the female entrepreneurs out there? What would you say to them?
Well, I think I'm very happy that you asked that question. I think one of the most important tips that I could give during these times is to go back to the basics and to remember a little bit our why. Remember why did you start this, and try again to connect not to your passion, because sometimes the passion goes extended very fast, but do connect to your purpose. Once you are able to connect to your purpose, even though those days where you don't want to wake up, you will. So as a business owner, I think that's one of the greatest motivations that we have, our purpose and the why. Why did we start this to start with? Did you start it for the money? Well, maybe that's not the answer. But when you connect to your real purpose, you're able to bring out the best in you. I would also say that I think a lot of people is discussing, whether this is a positive or a negative, event when we talk about the pandemic. And I think my message is very simple in that aspect. I would say never waste a good crisis. There are a lot of opportunities that are involved, and whatever is a crisis, for one of us could be an opportunity to others. And probably the thing that we want to do the most is we want to keep all our senses alert. And we want to be paying attention, monitoring things, and making the most out of this. I would say that another thing that's very important is to work with people and to work on people. As I mentioned, connect with your purpose, but connect not only yourself with your purpose, connect your team with the purpose, reminding them daily, what are we doing here, why are we doing it, and allowing them to keep making a choice, to be committed to that purpose. I would say that another thing that is really important right now is we don't need to stick to the old models that we were taught in university maybe. Business not necessarily have to be those big structures that we were taught at some point. Business right now are all about, smart collaborations, and usually even having the right number, having the right number, I mean the right phone number to call and ask for help sometimes. And going around that, I think again the power of the network. Let's thrive to keep connecting one another. Let's remember that it's very important to check in, and let's keep ourselves, in contact, but not only business-wise. Let's remember that we are first of all people. And there is a very nice saying of somebody I follow that says, networking is not a hunting, it's actually more about farming. So use this time wisely, do your farming, and stay relevant. And staying relevant, I think, has a lot to do also to taking this time, and if I could say, take 30 minutes a day, do take those 30 minutes a day to refresh your knowledge, to acquire new knowledge, to use the time that maybe you're going to use through one of the social networks, use it in a podcast, use it to learn, a relevant article to the industry that you're working with, and be updated, educate yourself, because education is a journey that never ends, or that never should, at least not for a wise entrepreneur. And lastly, I would say sometimes as entrepreneurs we find ourselves a little bit lonely, And as business people, because that's what we are, we should always try to look not only for a friend's advice, but for a mentor's advice. So when you feel like things are getting a little bit tight, search and find a mentor. Probably your business just needs a little bit of a touch up, and you too, and a mentor can make a difference.
Absolutely. Anna Artua McMillan, it's been a true pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on today's show, and wishing you continued growth and success.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for from Anna Artua McMillan. It's been very interesting finding out more about Mac innovation. My name is Lara, signing off. Until next time.